What's up, everyone, and you are watching Crypto Grinders. In this episode, we are just going to be talking about a very simple thing that a lot of people will most likely overlook, especially when the markets are just going upwards. I think they forgot to take profit, and this is a lot of until now, right? Even after so many years, I think there are people who still have that FOMO, that excitement, and they forgot to do the very basic thing, which is just to take profit from the market. And yeah, it's a very simple strategy, guys. Sell into strength and never let whatever that's happening around you affect your school of thought. And I think we want to at least give the newcomers, okay, a chance to learn what you have learned as a veteran, especially on the channel. And if you are also someone who is relatively learning in the space, you just started your Bitcoin adventure, you started buying some Bitcoins, you started maybe even venturing into altcoins, and suddenly you see this movement, you see your portfolio bleeding in terms of Satoshi, you don't know what's going on, how come there's a sudden surge. Well, in this episode, I will just cover all these things with you and help you all out as much as I can. So right now, if we just go to the charts, right, overall Bitcoin is now experiencing a very strong take profit, which was expected, right? I think anyone who has experienced such a strong parabolic rise this early, because Bitcoin obviously had to come down. Okay, it was no doubt in my mind that as we speak right now, it hit a high of 5,000. I think 5,000. Let's see, what was the high? The high was 5,345 on Bitstamp, and this is with US dollars. And right now you're seeing the price actually drop pretty aggressively, which we anticipate should fall slightly above 4,005. Okay, let's go to a little bit of a longer time frame and then see whether we can find a support level. We don't really have a very strong support level. 4,200 was the previous resistance. That was how you determine the previous resistance is very simple. You see where the wicks and the candles potentially would touch, right? So the more points that you can actually achieve with a straight line, where we call it a trend line or a support or resistance line, 4,200 would definitely be the mark of support, and anywhere else in between it's a bit hard to determine. And in fact, if you look at it, right, Bitcoin would have even if you say that there's a resistance at 5,005, 5,006, it's a very crappy resistance. So you probably want to look at something further. Let's go to 1 week. 1 week, you see, even if you look at week to week, right? Yeah, so if you look at week to week, 4,600. Okay, so which is what we anticipated. We hope to see Bitcoin prices actually sit around 4,005, 4,006. That would clearly show that this market is a little bit ready for the next leg and not be hovering around the 3,800, 3,900, 4,000 region. Okay, so a lot of people were kind of discussing what was the cause and the reason behind this sudden pump, and everyone's starting to search on Twitter. It's actually quite irrelevant. It truly is very irrelevant, because the market wants to do whatever the market wants to do. It really doesn't matter whether is it institutional, whether is it one buyer, few buyers. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is, are you in? Did you put in enough money, and did you take the time to actually buy up enough of whatever coins that you needed to buy? Because you only can make money when you actually have the asset class, when you actually bought it, right? And since you bought it during that very long bearish period, this is the time for you to start considering whether is it time to at least cash out some of that much needed it is time to cash out at least a little bit of your holdings, right? Because anything that goes parabolic, and this is a very, very good example, this is considered a parabolic movement. And even if Bitcoin, right, were to do the 2017 rise up from wherever it was to 20,000, you still can take profit, guys. No one is going to call you a fool, because you had the whole of you had the whole of let's say it depends. Okay, it really depends. Those unfortunately who had come in around this period, right? Okay, like myself, I bought some at $6,000. So there's no way that I would be cashing out that early either, right? So a lot of folks, right, are definitely queuing around here. If you ask me, where will be the strongest resistance? This will be the strongest resistance. Trust me, 6,000 to 6,005 will be the longest period where it will hit, because the moment if it really skyrockets, right, if it really skyrockets, no one is going to be dumb enough to actually buy up whatever that was here, okay? Because there'll be too much selling orders, I guarantee it. Because here's how people think, okay? Here's how people think. People who own, right, Bitcoin at this point, and they have been hodling for a good, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, they are gonna get very, very impatient. They'll be saying, you know what, I just want to get out with whatever I came in with, and I'm happy. There'll be a majority who are those people, and then there'll be folks who will be like, you know what, I'll be happy just to get back anywhere from 70 to 80% of my money. Okay, there'll be those people as well. Then there'll be those people who will be a little bit more they maybe they have a longer vision. Okay, they've been doing a little bit of research, and they'll be waiting for at least to take profit at around the 10k region, 9k, 8, 9, 10k region. Okay, this is the very, very common practice, which is fine as well. It's really up to you. It really boils down to your your mentality coming into the space, right? Because when you came in, there are various points in this market that you will ask yourself, okay, shit, should I be buying at this period? Because when during this period you were having a lot of news analysts saying that it will continue to go down. That's why it's always good to form your own opinion, right? It's very important that you get knowledgeable about the space on your own, right? Because if you don't even have the knowledge to make a good, where you don't even have the knowledge to even pull the trigger, right? Because at the end of the day, it's your money, guys. You can do whatever you want, but the worst thing is that I see people following other people, and then it's like when they follow other people, right, they get pissed off when the call doesn't turn out right. Okay, you only have yourself to blame, because you don't even bother to arm yourself with the right knowledge, right, to enter and exit the market. So, I think the best thing that anyone can do, especially everybody knows that Crypto Grinders, we've been educating people throughout, whether it was the bull, whether it was the bear market, we have always been educating people. And what I'm the most concerned is that there are going to be a lot of newer YouTubers that just started to learn a little bit of technical analysis, and they're coming out of the woodwork. And they are gonna start shilling, and people like to watch new things, which is fine, which is completely fine in this space, especially when you're talking about content creation. People want to make a little bit of money, start to have a little bit of sponsorship, earn a few $100 on YouTube. That's okay, that's entirely fine. But I think the most important is that you have to have experience, because personally I feel that if you have gone through a bull market, you have to experience a bear market as well. That is where you clearly find your true self. That is when you start maturing up as an investor, a trader, right? Because without you having that experience and having gone through a bear market especially, right, you will never be able to have that maturity and the chances to identify where are the pockets of opportunities, because it's so difficult to see your portfolio get melted, and then after that, right, you didn't, it's like people just go away, right? They have this mentality to just leave and not look at their portfolio, especially since it's not going anywhere. The markets are still down. Let me come back to it when I see some green. Now, the best opportunities are going to be found during the bear market, and we are still in the bear market. That's something that I want to highlight as well. We are still clearly in the bear market. Whether this hits 200 billion in terms of market cap or not, we are still in the bear market. Okay, so we have yet to recover completely. And what constitutes to a bear market, if you're wondering? So you take the all-time high. Okay, you take the all-time high of the market cap. So at that time, let's go to coin market cap. Okay, so if you want to determine, Ryan, how do we know that we are still in a bear market? What makes you say that? So this parabolic movement, right? Okay, is the part where the euphoria kicked in. So I would say that if it would be a bit safer, and usually it's 30%, okay? The unfortunate thing about how to quantify where to take that discount, okay, is basically when a market goes into a bear market, it's 30%. Okay, it's 30% drop from the top. And if it stays consistently below that 30%, it's considered a bear market. Okay, so if you take 800 billion as the point, right? That would obviously constitute to let me see, 30% of that would be 8, 16, okay, 24. Okay, so you shave off 240 billion from the market cap. Okay, that will give you the right number. And if you want to be a little bit more conservative, because okay, if you want to be a bit conservative, it's very difficult. I would rather see the market, right, at least consolidate for a little bit longer. And then if it drops, right, that would be so much easier to determine the actual drop, because it ran up too fast in 2017, guys. Honestly, it was very difficult to determine. So let's assume that if we see the price points, let's say we assume that 500 billion would be a better indicator. And if you took 500 billion and then shave off a 30%, that would be probably a very good determination. So there have been people who are saying that what's up, Chris, and nice to see you, DW, and also Crypto Motive. So I think shaving off, say, 500 billion, right, and 500 billion shaving off 30%, could be also a very good indicator as well. Okay, and if you notice in the past few days, because our market cap is so small, okay, so let me go into a smaller and shorter timeline. Okay, why I say that it's so insignificant in such a short span of time. If you look at the number of days, so this was the 2nd of April, and now it's only the 4th. Okay, now it's only the 4th of April. That means 2 days. So we were hovering at the longest time at the 144, 147, slightly below 150 billion market cap. And suddenly you have this very strong surge. Okay, so 147, and it surges to 162 billion. And then, of course, a little bit of FOMO here and there. People start getting excited, and then they start buying up. And all in all, a good 40 billion entered the market in a matter of 2 days or 48 hours. So that just goes to show that, honestly, it's still so small. It's so easy to move the market, as they say. But that being said, it is encouraging. Okay, it's encouraging to see that there are large buyers that are willing to come in above 5,000. There are even buyers who are willing to go to actually buy up above 4,000. I think that's a good thing. So obviously it's going to be a bit retarded for them to buy up at 4,000 and then after that start selling it down anywhere. I mean, obviously that person, okay, or those people that bought up Bitcoin from 4K to maybe 4.2, right? There has to be a continuation. Okay, there has to be a continuation. So if there's a continuation and say, okay, they kind of took profit at 5.3 or whatever, or even at 5.5, okay, they wanted to make a quick flip on the market. It had to be well coordinated, right? And if you notice, there was no prior news, guys. People were saying that there was the April Fool's joke where there was this tweet or this piece of news that the Bitcoin ETF was going to be approved. I was like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything? Seriously, it's a rumor. And for this market movement, right, and it obviously happened on the 1st of April. That's what got the, and then people are saying that, oh, the bots got excited, and then the bots picked up on the news, and then it started. Come on, guys, really, come on. That is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. But anyway, you know what? Everybody wants to do something. So for now, what we are doing here at Crypto Grinders, we have just basically advocated, being stable. Okay, just making sure that, okay, those that bought in at 323536, we already recommended take profits at anywhere from 4.5 to 5k, right? Those who, because we don't know where exactly it will hold. So when it hit 5k, we did mention that you should start taking a little bit of profit off the table. We did that. Those who were trading altcoins, we also, and those that were benefiting from the BTC movement, because there were altcoins that were benefiting for the BTC movement, we asked them to take profit. It's just very, very straightforward. It wasn't even difficult for us because you only can sell into strength. And especially when altcoins are showing enough volume, okay, anything that shows enough volume, you take profit. Now, what's the next steps? The next steps obviously is to just wait, right? It's there's nothing that you need to do. Honestly, if you don't have it, you don't have it. You don't buy in now, right? That's the smartest thing to do right now, is to wait for a consolidation, because there seems to be no. There will be a consolidation in the coming days. Okay, if you look at the charts, and you pull out look at the charts now, right? It's gonna have to consolidate at somewhere. So I'm anticipating a sell down, and depending on where the sell down is, and you wait for that because there's no real catalyst at the moment, guys, other than Prime, other than Launchpad. What is the excitement? Tell me, please share with me. With your the SEC and whatever. There's nothing that has changed. If you think about it, there's nothing that has changed. Okay. Of course, long-term fundamentals. Okay. So as Furban has mentioned, fundamentally everything still looks okay. It looks normal. There has been a lot of developments of late with old projects. So let's go into charts of the old projects. If you look at LTC did probably the same thing. Ethereum, and as of now, even LTC is already starting to take profit. I told you, anything that is a parabolic movement, guys, don't even think about it continuing to $100 to $200 or whatever, right? It did almost hit $100. That's how insane this space is, right? That's why it got people very, very excited. I mean, I run the Telegram group, I run the Discord group. Obviously, I'm one of the first to know what happens, right? Because I've been observing the markets even during the bear market. So right now, people are already clearly taking profit, especially if you enjoyed buying your Litecoins, especially those who were buying Litecoins. I didn't look at Litecoins. I was more into Hopi tokens. I was more into HPT. Those we have already 3x and 5x respectively. And then after that, Ethereum, I gave it a rest because I feel that Ethereum is no longer going to be the hot favorite since the token sales events are now now the token sale events are being done on Binance and Hopi, which are one of the two largest exchanges when it comes to coins, right? At the moment. So right now the demand for those tokens will be the best. Okay. Obviously, yeah, I mean, that being said, sentiment definitely is changing. Definitely sentiment is more positive. Goes without saying. I mean, this is for sure. But there will be a lot of people who have the smarts that will do proper risk management, and those obviously you can't tell for now. You want to be able to, everybody loves to sell exactly at the high. Okay, everybody wants to catch the peak of the peak. But you don't have to catch the peak of the peak, my dear friends. All you have to do is catch. Okay, so you had this very, very good opportunity. Okay, wait, let me go to a proper 1 day. Okay, that'll be a little bit easier. So you had this opportunity to buy right? Or I'm just giving an example here, okay? You had this opportunity to buy, this opportunity, and this opportunity to buy. And if you manage to get a rise, let's say you're a little bit late to the party and, you know, you were the $60 Litecoin buyer, right? $60 to $80, you still can take profit, right? You still can actually do pretty well, okay? And the good thing is that you need to exercise this kind of mentality that, okay, right now, especially if you're new, I have new money coming in. This is fresh money coming in. I want to experience what is it like to be in this space. So the good thing is that you are now coming in at the bottom of the market. We are still at the bottom of the market. So of course, naturally, the bottom was 3,200. Okay, when Bitcoin was 3,200, that's the bottom. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind that we are definitely way past that. Now, the only question is, I'm curious to see where do we sit, because this is a new leg up. This is a new all-time high for the year for Bitcoin. So since that is the case, where is it gonna consolidate? So same thing, whenever you see any long candles like all this, obviously there's going to be some kind of consolidation. It's like, okay, whatever this is, this is just basically a combination of people who are FOMOing in, right? Very worried, and sure, there'll be those folks that were there who bought up high. Then there'll be this very nice consolidation. Whether is it consolidating this way or whatever, right? This is your beginning of your flagpole, okay? This is your flagpole, okay, for sure. And when this flagpole, finally, stops doing whatever it wants to do in the intraday, and it will start forming some kind of a wedge. Either is it bullish? Usually, for now, it's going to be bullish. It's going to be symmetrical triangles, and then after that, there's going to be bullish flags happening. And then everyone wants to see whether the volume is sustainable. Obviously, the volume is not going to be sustainable. Okay, it will just consolidate. Then everyone will start looking at their Ichimoku clouds and whatnot. It doesn't matter. So what happens is that you're gonna start seeing the interest of the market, and whoever starts buying up the Bitcoin, right? As long as it can sit above 5,000 or a significantly higher level, the mass media will start picking up and start reporting it, because that is the whole purpose, right? If you don't have enough, if you don't move the price enough, no one will talk about it, because clearly, right, there's still no news. There's still no news regarding Bitcoin being significantly higher. Nothing. So just stick to the game plan. The game plan, just wait for a consolidation, and you have already pinpointed what cryptocurrencies you want to buy. Stick to the ones that have been around the longest, okay? If you're still very clueless, obviously you can look at the top 10, right? And if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, obviously you can venture out into the top 50 or top 20. That is where you start identifying, hey, maybe it was a token that you bought a long time ago. You could just see your own block folio or your own crypto portfolio. I noticed that as the exchanges start to become a little bit more reliable, that unfortunately hardware wallets are not going to be a thing. So this is the part where you have to spot certain trends. Now, even though that exchanges are not going to be exchanges tend to still have their bad rep of having hacks and whatnot, but to be honest, the strongest exchanges, the most reputable exchanges, are not having any issues. So if you look at Binance, right? Binance is already going back to its previous all-time high, and that was the 2018 prior to the early 2018 bull run, right? To $22. Now it's at 1863. So that for Binance, right, they are just the leaders when it comes down to marketing and bringing something new to the space. This, to me, is a catalyst, right? And those who are obviously buying Binance tokens, right, especially at the low, and that's why I say stick to a plan. I think yes, as Furban mentioned, stick to the plan equals to eat chicken rice and chill. Yeah, exactly. It's keeping your whole mental state simple. I don't know why, right, that people tend to get very easily distracted by what's happening on Twitter. It's way too fast, guys. Sometimes reading it casually is fine, but when you kind of get too engrossed into it, right, you kind of deviate away from your main plan, and that's the part where people get very confused. For me, it was no doubt in my mind that okay, I would do take profit, right? I would do take profit the moment it hits a certain key level, and everyone was waiting for 200 billion market cap. And to me, 200 billion market cap would be more significant than the actual Bitcoin price, because it was difficult to say that, we want to wait for 6,000, right? But in actual fact, other coins are now able to have their own in streams of liquidity. So what does that mean? In the past, there was very little channels or on-ramp avenues for you to buy into cryptocurrency. But right now, right, you actually can buy US dollar Tether via OTC. Okay, you can actually buy obviously Ethereum if you want via OTC. But if you look at it, it's not the main on ramps these days. In fact, stable coins, especially US dollar Tether via OTC, is something that's available, and it's very, very hot in China. Okay, I'm not sure about other countries, but I know that US dollar Tether is very hot via OTC because it's just more straightforward. It's just changing renminbi to US dollars, right? And people get it. And when you come down to buying a cryptocurrency, why is it that US dollar Tether volume has been significantly higher than BTC trading volume? That has changed a whole lot, because in the past, we only used to know how to trade with BTC or Ethereum. And you look at so many decimal places, right? 16 decimal places. But right now, if you notice the shift, and if you did a comparison between a US dollar Tether pairing and a BTC pairing, right? Okay, the BTC volume for that particular pairing is significantly lower, and you notice that if there was a US dollar Tether pairing for that particular, let's say EOS, you will see that, hey, there's so much more volume. You can even see 3 to 4 times more volume on the US dollar Tether pairing. So right now, people are just keeping it simple for themselves. So you want to go to the coin that has the best opportunity for you to make money, right? And people don't want to deal with the fact that if I take profit into a very expensive BTC, let's say if you are in an altcoin position and you took profit into BTC, you would have to do 2 levels of risk management. One, you take profit from your altcoin that has benefited from this pump, for example, okay? And after that, you have to take profit into US dollars, right? Because you see, right now, okay, let me give you an example then. Okay, so now, as you can see, Bitcoin is already starting to drop, right? And so is your altcoin position. So let's say if you were having a very nice pump to your Quark chain, for example. Okay, I think the guys in Protégé, they were in Quark chain. And Quark chain was doing very well, right? So Quark chain had a pump, even though BTC was pumping, and then those who were taking profit into BTC, right, were taking profit into a more expensive BTC. But if they took profit, and let's say, for example, BTC was 5,200 at the time, so on a Satoshi level, they made money. But from a US dollar level, they have to deal with the fact that it's dropping in US dollar value. So even whatever you made, right, on the altcoin trade, you still have to deal with you still would have to deal with the volatility of Bitcoin. That is the problem, and that is why I actually shifted away. And to me, how I look at things, I keep it very simple. If Bitcoin goes up, I will take profit into US dollars. If my pairing that has a US dollar Tether, and by the way, the secret sauce right now is that any altcoin that has US dollar Tether pairing, right, will have a very good opportunity for a movement upwards as well, because there is just more on-ramps for volume and money to flow into that particular cryptocurrency. So take note, that is the tip. If you have been staying for that, I think that is one of the key things that I also can highlight. So this is kind of like the kind of key things that I want to say. Anything. So key takeaway, guys, before I end off the episode. Any parabolic movement, especially if to me, I think 30% is a very significant movement upwards, and I think that is a good point to take profit. Anything that especially has enjoyed a good run up in a span of less than 48 hours, taking profit is nothing wrong, guys. Even if it's gonna go up 40, 50, 60%, you still have to take profit. It just makes sense, okay? And then if you are looking for if you're looking for altcoins that have US dollar tether pairings are also very, very strong on ramps for more money to come in. Those are the ones that you want to take note of. And last but not least, when there's so much volume flowing into a particular cryptocurrency, okay, you don't have to care about the fundamentals because it's pure hype already at that point. So it's just more of, okay, are you in it? Did you spot it even before it happened, right? And sometimes you have to stay invested in that particular cryptocurrency before something significant happens, right? So as long as you can identify these things, okay, and take note, the sentiment is clearly changing. We want to see where Bitcoin is going to stabilize, and once it stabilizes, say between the four, as I mentioned, as long as it can stabilize above 4,500, I think we are good to go for the next leg up. And the key resistance would be a 200 billion market cap or 6,000 BTC, whichever is first, okay, whichever is first. And you will take note on the dominance. Where is the money flowing? Is the money truly and if the BTC dominance is actually increasing? Obviously, all eyes are on BTC, but I don't really see much. Anyway, treat it as an asset class. Okay, for now, there's more BTC ATMs or whatever, but honestly, if in your country there's very little use of BTC, then there's just very little use of BTC. You don't have to care too much about it, okay? And even if there's someone else buying for some other God knows whatever reason, right? It doesn't matter. It's your call, because if you feel that there will be a significant movement in BTC, obviously you buy BTC. If you feel that there's a significant movement in an altcoin, then you buy the altcoin. It's very simple. You don't have to like be too confused, you know. And always, like I said, anything that with regards to learning, learning and how to manage your portfolio, and at the same time, if you're looking for recommendations about the space, right? Our Protégé Pro group is already open. It's basically a monthly subscription. From there, we break down everything, our technical analysis, our fundamental analysis for what coins we're going to be buying on a regular basis, what to do, what not to do. Everything is all there, mark to market in detail. All right, guys. So that is all for the stream. All the links that you need are in the description below. And if you're watching this for the very first time, give this a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like the episode, if you didn't find it helpful. Last but not least, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. See you guys.